Welcome, all of you who are old and those who are new. Most welcome. I think I haven't met Paul. This is your first time here, it seems like.
I think about a month ago
Okay,
I started attending.
I see. And Athena, I know from our Bhakti Center group. Nityamataji, Hare Krishna. Nice to see you. Radha Kripa. How old is she now? Six?
It's six, Prabhu. Yes.
Okay.
She's six.
All right. So we have had Ram Navami just about 10 days ago, and then Hanuman Jayanti on, like, this is my Thursday morning, so this should be your Wednesday evening, I suppose. So Tuesday we had Hanuman Jayanti. So I thought that we could have a small meditation on some of the glories of Hanuman as an exemplary Vaishnava, as an exemplary devotee. So that will be our short meditation. I hope I should speak for about half an hour, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, and then we can have a very nice extended discussion, whatever topics you feel like, even if it is not related to today's topic, anything is okay. So we'll begin. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharini. Vancha Kalpataru Vescha Kripa Sindhu Vyayavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Welcome everyone. So, Hanuman is glorified as one of the emblems or the exemplar of the Dasya Ras. Dasya means to act as a servant, and Rasa means a particular relationship which gives a particular taste. Rasa Shastra, or the science of understanding mellows, is one of the cornerstones of Vaishnav worldview. How do we see the world? Even in our world, we can see how the rasa understanding plays a very important role. An entrepreneur could be seen as devoting his or her life solely for the prospect of making money. But does money give them happiness? They say yes. Money, of course, is necessary for living in this world. But then is the activity giving you happiness or the result of that activity giving you happiness? In my childhood, maybe I was in school. So India is not very famous for producing tennis players, but the media had hyped up the Wimbledon tennis tournament. Some of you could be aware there are four major tournaments, and one who wins all four, they call it a grand slam. So one player from Sweden called Bjorn Borg, he used to dominate the scene like anything, and he won something like 8 Wimbledon championships, 7 of them in a row, and he was hailed as one of the greatest. Oh wow, how much is he poised? And he also was so cool Not cool in the sense of looking cool, but he was also cool headed. He was called the Iceborg. There was a play on his name. And one day he lost to one American newcomer who was just the exact opposite of his nature, brash, outspoken, and uh, his name was John McEnroe. And so after many years, Borg was asked, what happened? And he said, I don't know. Suddenly I stopped getting that taste in playing tennis. Now, when I read that story, I was thinking, wow, interesting. But then today, armed with the knowledge of rasa theology, I can put all these parts together and can understand that he stopped getting that rasa from playing. And therefore, you just don't do something because you you don't get any juice out of it. And because it is a material thing, there is no one to explain to you why you are not getting that juice. Srila Rupa Goswami, who is our spiritual authority, he says that there is a material rasa and there is a spiritual rasa. Material rasa has a beginning and therefore has an end. Spiritual rasa does not have a beginning and therefore does not have an end. And his whole treatise called The Ocean of Bhakti Rasa, which is eternal. That's the name he gave to this book. In Sanskrit, it is called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhakti Ras, the rasa of bhakti, Amrit, which is eternal. It doesn't have a shelf life, no expiry date, and it is an ocean of rasa available. So, someone working like anything, 8, 10, 12 hours on a project, most of you are very familiar with this kind of a working style. You're in a team and when you ask your boss, so sir, when do you want it? Or madam, when do you want it? Yesterday. So that's how corporate life works. And 8, 10 hours, few weeks. And like I have just joined LinkedIn just to see how whether I can fit in that corporate atmosphere there. I do contribute something every day. And every now and then we see people saying, just completed this certification course. I'm so happy. I got admitted into this. I'm selected for Amazon, for Google, for Bell Labs, for this, for that. And they have this big relief on their face. They don't know, but we know they are experiencing a kind of a rasa. So there is a rasa in working very hard, getting a job, getting your stock options, getting a promotion. And then you might say, all right, now 4 days of vacation in Bermuda, Bahamas, Switzerland, this, that, anywhere. Now, because people do not stop and listen and look properly, they live their lives in this mechanical way. I worked hard, I'm a genius, I'm intelligent, therefore I got this job or assignment, or I started this startup and now I made my first 100 million or whatever. Now I just want to enjoy. Now, in case they are in their hotel or resort or whatever, and someone says there is a business call, and this boss or someone would say, I told you no calls. Leave me alone. These 4 days, I just don't want to think about business at all. And you may say, why? Why not? You're in a nice little resort here. Why not use extra 4 or 5 hours on working on something? He said, no, I'm fed up to my buck teeth with all that assignment, everything. So there is a joy in getting connected with the world. And unfortunately, there is a joy in getting completely disconnected from the world. People don't know why they are acting like that, but that's what the Rasa theology says. This is called Chapala Sukha, flickering happiness. One happiness is in getting connected, and the other happiness is in getting disconnected. So let's say Thursday morning you get admitted into that resort, full Thursday evening, oh fun, so many activities to do, Friday, Saturday, Sunday afternoon you have to go back, and now suddenly you may say, my God, Monday morning. Have you heard of the Monday morning blues? Monday morning means everything now, people will be clawing at me, and I want your time, I want this, I want that. Again, for the next few weeks or so, completely engage in one particular activity. Earn more money, become more productive, more meetings, more product sales, more this, more that. Again, after a few weeks, hell with the whole thing. I just want to cut myself off. And people say, actually, you do this so that you become productive, so that you don't get burnt out. Rupa Goswami asks a question: if a particular activity is so joyful, why not do it forever? And they say, no, forever is a too long a time. You can't have something which goes forever. Here we have someone like Hanuman, who is asked that, would you like to serve anyone apart from Lord Ram? No way. This service is so nectarian, this service is so beautiful, it is so much, it is giving newer and newer waves of happiness. I just don't want to leave it. So when you consider rasa theology and our world, actually our world falls short of expectations. It's always a compromise, one compromise after another compromise after another compromise. I'm not saying it is very easy to get out of our material situation. No way. It's a long haul. But we just need to understand what's what, how things compare. Hanuman has something to do with his chin. This part of the body is called in Sanskrit Hanuvati. And there are many stories about Hanuman's birth. The simplest one, I mean, two, three are very complicated, but the simplest one is Vayu is the personality, a very powerful personality in charge of air. Not just the air which comes from the AC or from the fan, but totality of air. And the time had come that Ravana, a big, austere, knowledgeable, powerful person, had big dreams of world domination. Now, world domination doesn't mean just like it today, Apple wants to dominate the smartphone market, or Amazon wants to dominate the grocery delivery or book delivery market. This was total domination, not just for one planet, but the entire universe. So I will pause in between to just answer a few questions. Uh, why do people need this urge to dominate? Because in this world, we feel that if I don't dominate you, you'll dominate me. And therefore, in order to stop you from dominating me, better I dominate you. This is the common worldview. So time and again, these kind of personalities, they come depending upon their character, their behavior. They have been analyzed as uh, either very powerful or sometimes almost on the level of like god-like power, but for some time only. That's the difference. If you go to the history department of any university, there will be about at least 250 or 300 books about the rise of Adolf Hitler. And so many people have tried to analyze how come a cultured country like Germany could make someone whose ideas were so horrible, evil, and they also knew they were all short lived. Why did they choose him? He didn't impose himself, he was a properly democratically elected leader. So I used to read that. I am a history buff. I used to like this kind of various analyses. In one purport, Prabhupada says, nobody knows how Hitler became powerful. And similarly, there is not an easy explanation as to how he lost. That he lost is for sure. He made some mistakes that cost him dear. But what Prabhupada wants to say is somebody made him powerful, somebody kept him powerful, and someone more powerful than him also destroyed him. So why not study that personality or that agency or what that power, whatever it could be. So if we analyze today's dictators and their lives and their health situation and how they were so dependent on medication and so many other things, personalities like Ravana were not taking allopathy drugs or uh, they had hypertension or they had high sugar. They were really powerful. So that's how we read in the Ramayana how, and they were not ignoramus, they were not idiots, they were not fools, they were very, very intelligent people. So Vishnu or Krishna, he is the supreme personality of Godhead, and his one of his duties, not a duty given by someone, but one of his uh, features is he always helps people in this world when they are terrorized by these powerful personalities. So Hanuman is the amsha, is a portion of Vayu. So one day Anjana is a Devi, she's like a Apsara from the heavenly planets, and she feels that suddenly a wind came and blew her cloth away, and she was very uh, embarrassed. And then she was taken to a cave, and she said, "Who is this who is trying to molest me?" And Vayu says, "It is me, Vayu." She says, "Why are you doing this?" He says, "Don't worry. You have been chosen to be the mother of a very great devotee of Vishnu, and whatever I am doing to you will not violate your chastity." Many times, just superficial reading of Ramayana, Mahabharata makes you feel that, hey, how come these people tell us how to behave properly and uh, observe all the rules and regulations? And then we see these big, big devtas, they can just take any girl and say that I'm going to give you a son and it will not violate your chastity. We have to understand that, like in India, Lord Shiva's devotees say, oh, we take marijuana or we take bhang, hemp, because our Lord also takes that. So the Srimad Bhagavatam says, do not imitate a powerful personality. Emulate the behavior. Try to see the teachings of that great personality. Otherwise, if Shiva takes marijuana, therefore you also can take. Shiva also drank a whole ocean of poison. So why not start with some 100 ml of zinc phosphate or whatever poison is available nearby? That will kill you. So that's the caution. So Vayu begetting Hanuman in the womb of Anjana should not be considered a rape or a molestation. Rather, these are the ways in which these great personalities act and they behave, they do certain things. No sooner than Hanuman was born, he just leapt in the sky. Why? Because it was the rising sun, and he thought that this is a very nice fruit. And as he came nearer and nearer, Surya, the demigod in charge of the sun, he said, "Ooh, what's happening?" And for a split second, he thought that actually this guy could come and swallow me. So Surya, Indra, and all other powerful personalities said, "We should stop him, we should stop him." So Indra was told to hurl his thunderbolt, which hit him on this part. And therefore, there is a cleft here, and he fell down, completely knocked down unconscious. And now Vayu was very angry that, hey, he's like my son. Who dare to deal with him like that? So what Vayu does is he just stops circulation. And if there is no Vayu, there is no internal Vayu, our pranas, the life air, and outside air. So the whole universe was kind of choked up. And they said, all right, we just thought that it could be trouble, therefore we stopped him. Now they started giving him benedictions. So Surya said, I bless him with all knowledge. Somebody said, I give him all power. Somebody said, I give him all intelligence. And now Hanuman, he was technically still a baby, but he was very powerful. Knowing that he has all these powers and siddhis and you name it, everything he has, he started playing mischief on all the rishis, the mendicants who would stay in the forest and just perform austerities. They would perform their yagyas, their fire sacrifices, their pujas, their worship. So tweak somebody's cheek or pull somebody's hair or put some soil into somebody's sacrificial offerings, stop somebody's fire. And normally they would be very harassed and angry, but then this is Vayu's son. So what do we do? So finally they decided that we will curse him to forget all his powers. And all of a sudden he started behaving like a very normal child. He just was not aware that he can fly, he can lift boulders, mountains, he can do so many things. So that is the small introduction to Hanuman's childhood. There are many, 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 many stories. We will move ahead to Hanuman being told by the sun god Surya that Sugriv is the name of a monkey king, and he is like my amsha, my portion. I have given him a portion of my power. I would like you to serve him. So this is the beginning of the famous friendship between Lord Ram and Sugriv in the Ramayana. So I'm not sure how many of you are fully aware of the Ramayana, but bear with me. So Lord Ram is married to Sita, then is banished to the forest, and then Sita is kidnapped by Ravana. So Ram and Lakshmana are looking after Sita everywhere. They get a clue that if they get to the kingdom of Kishkinda and make friendship with Sugriv, he could possibly help them. So Ram and Lakshman, they start walking towards Kishkinda. Meanwhile, Sugriv, he and his twin brother Vali, they were thick friends. They were very good friends. But due to some misunderstanding, Vali thought that Sugriv is out to occupy his throne. So he kicked him out and actually said, if I see you, I'll kill you. So Sugriv was always living in fear of his life. And when his monkey soldiers tell him that we see two brilliant as the sun warrior princes, they look like princes, but then they're dressed in forest clothing like tree bark. Who could they be? And Sugriv says maybe they are spies sent by Vali. So Hanuman, please try to go and find them. So Hanuman goes there. He changes his form to an of an old mendicant and says, "How come two Kshatriya or warrior princes are wandering alone in the forest here? What are you doing? And where do you want to go?" So Lakshman says, "My name is Lakshman, and this is my elder brother Ram. One Asura, Ravana, he kidnapped my brother's wife. We are looking after her." No wonder when Hanuman hears the name of Ram, he immediately sheds his disguise and says, "Oh, I am your eternal servant, Hanuman. I'm so happy." And he says, "Right now I'll take you to Sugriv." So Hanuman seats Lakshman on one shoulder, Ram on the other shoulder, and flies them through the skies and brings them to Sugriv. In the Sri Sampradaya, they have their teachers extensively commenting on these small snippets from the Ramayana, and they give very important commentary on that. If Hanuman is a eternal servant of Ram, how come he didn't recognize Ram? Why Ram had to tell him? Why Lakshman had to tell him that this is me and this is Ram? So just pause for a moment and see how nicely they put the whole thing. So many people say, why God is not visible to me? Why can't I see God? Or why God doesn't come in my life? So they say, here Ram is Ram, but Hanuman had taken a disguise. Is it not? So we, the spirit soul, the jiva, we take a disguise. And what is that disguise we take in this material world? Three basic face masks. I am the controller, I am the proprietor, and I am the enjoyer. And this disguise makes us not identify with who is God, who am I. So when we remove our disguise, then like the sun, the Lord is there. We can realize him very easily. So there is another big episode of Ram killing Vali and Sugriva saying that, okay, now you have helped me regain my kingdom. I will now fulfill my promise. So he summons hundreds and thousands and millions of Vanaras, monkey soldiers. Valmiki Muni describes that they're not ordinary monkeys, they are all the portions of various devatas, each of them having various powers and siddhis and ability to wield weapons and very powerful, bodily strength wise, very powerful. So, four parties are made, search parties. One is sent to the east, one to the south, west, one to the north, and one to the southern direction. Because Ram felt in his heart that maybe Sita could be found in the southern direction. He interested Hanuman to be in that search party. Each party was told that no more than 30 days, if within 30 days you cannot find any links, any whereabouts of Sita, you have to come back. Otherwise, you face the death penalty. So within a month, the party from the north, from the east, and from the west, they came back. Hanuman and his party slowly inched their way through the dense forest regions of South India, and finally they came up to the southern tip of India. There, according to their calculation, it was almost 1 month, and they were thinking that there is no use going back now. We are already dead. So why not just sit here and give up our lives? And to their horror, they found a very old vulture sitting on the top of a tree, saying that, "Jolly good, I am hungry, now I can't hunt, and now I have hundreds and thousands of monkeys to be just available as my food. Thank God, I'm very happy." So they were saying, as such, we can't find Mother Sita, we can't go back, and now we are just becoming food for this old vulture. Jatayu was like a devotee of Ram, but this vulture seems to be just bent on eating us. And that vulture said, "Did you mention Jatayu? He's my brother. What happened to him?" They said, "Oh, while Ravana was taking away Sita, Jatayu fought with him so bravely, he gave up his life. And Lord Ram, just as he would perform the last rites of his own father, he treated Jatayu like that." And now this vulture starts crying. He said, "My brother dead? And how wretched of me to think that I could be eating you when you are all devotees of Ram, and my brother also is a devotee of Ram." If you talk about Ravana, I know where Ravana lives. In fact, from here, I can see his capital, Lanka. They said, "Oh, so you mean to say that this is where we need to go?" I said, "Yes." "How far is Lanka?" So some say about 100 yojanas, 800 miles. So some monkeys start saying that I can go 10, I can do 20, but I can't come back. All of them are speaking, but Hanuman is silent. So Jambavan, one of the bears, there is a group of monkeys and also one bear. Jambavan says, "Hanuman, why aren't you saying something?" He said, "Oh, I don't know." "What do you mean you don't know?" I said, "I really don't know whether I can make it. All of you are so powerful, you are so youthful, energetic." And then Jambavan says, "Oh, I remember. Unless someone empowers you by activating your memory, till that time you won't be able to use your powers." So Jambavan starts relating Hanuman, who he actually is, what he is capable of doing. And Hanuman roars into action saying, "Yes, right now I will jump from this mountain and get back Mother Sita." This is point number 2 of their commentary, that each one of us is a bona fide part of Krishna. We are all part of God. We are not God, but we are godly. And unless a system of training and culture through a bona fide spiritual teacher reminds us again and again of what we are capable of doing, till that time we cannot do that. Although we are having the power, we don't know how to activate it. Today there is a fashion where people think that, oh, I can't do it myself. This is one thing you can do yourself. You have to be dependent on, of course, from one point of view, you can't be a surgeon yourself, right? By reading surgery books. You can't become a lawyer by reading law books. So for this level of education, you need to have an authority, you need to have education, syllabus, professors, university. What makes us think that spiritual education can be just had by going to the self-help section of some bookstore? I just heard a small humorous joke that a man goes to a library, to a bookshop and says, ma'am, can you direct me to the self-help section? She said, if I told you, it will defeat the purpose, right? Self self-help means you find out yourself where the section is. So anyway, so Hanuman jumps. He says, yes, I can jump 100 yojanas, I can jump back also. Now the whole universe is watching this great adventure. Now three things happen while Hanuman is on his way to, while he is airborne. The demigods, they say to one mountain whose name is Mainak, could you please come up? Hanuman could be tired. Just allow him some rest. As they say in military language, R&R, rest and recuperation. So make some orchards, fruits, flowers, a nice place to take a rest. So Maina comes up and Hanuman says, who are you? He said, I would like you to offer you some refreshments, some time out. Hanuman says, sorry, I have yet to accomplish my mission. I accept your hospitality, but now I can't. Let me go on my way, but thank you so much. So when you begin your process of spirituality, sometimes facilities come up. You might have someone saying, can I offer you something? Can I offer you a new iPhone? Can I offer you a new car? Can I offer you some new place here? And not that these things are bad in themselves, but one has to be alert. It is said that one should take only that thing which is absolutely necessary. And for that, you need to have guidance. Because many times these facilities may act like shackles. In the corporate world, they are saying that be careful, these awards and other things might dilute your enthusiasm. So that is a fact. So there are three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. So this first so called obstacle is considered in the mode of goodness. Hanuman races further. There comes a demoness. Actually, she is described as the mother of the serpents. And she says that I have a benediction that I can make my mouth as large as anything and I can swallow any object. So you need to face that challenge. I'm going to swallow you. Hanuman says, Mother, please let me go. She said, no, this is one test you have to pass. So Hanuman says, okay, you open your mouth. So she opens her mouth 1 mile long. Hanuman becomes 5. She becomes 5. Hanuman becomes 10. So this kind of competition heats up. And finally, when she's about like 50 miles, like a gaping mouth, Hanuman takes the form of a small squirrel, goes inside, and shoop, he's out. So he says, I fulfilled your condition, right? You said I have to enter your mouth. I did. And now I'm out. She says, you're very intelligent. Best of luck. I just wanted to show the world how intelligent you are. So this second obstacle is considered like a mode of passion. a Rajogoni obstacle. Where there is competition, you have to use your intelligence. Hanuman goes further and suddenly like frozen midway. And he says, what's that? He finds that somebody has grabbed his shadow. And he says, who's this? How can somebody stop me just by grabbing my shadow? And then this demoness comes and says, my name is Simika. I have this super perfection of capturing anyone by capturing their shadow. I am going to eat you. You will be my breakfast. Now Hanuman is thinking, the first one was offering me facilities. The second one tried to trick me, but this one means business. So he allows her to swallow him. He goes through her food pipe into her stomach, and then with his power, he bursts open, he tears her intestines and comes out. So that is considered an obstacle in the form of, in the mode of ignorance. You just have to deal with it. After that, there is no more obstacle. But all these three things, they kind of slow down. So it is dusk by the time he enters the island of Lanka, and he finds it fortified. Huge gates made of pure gold, and there are thousands and thousands of Ravana's soldiers. He says, I'll wait for some more time. And now it is night time. So he goes there stealthily. Halt! Who's there? And he finds a woman security guard coming there. She says, my name is Lankini. I am personified Lanka. I am the presiding deity of this island. And my job is to clear away all thieves and rascals from this place. So Hanuman thinks, oh, really? This whole thing is stolen property. The boss here is the biggest thief in the universe. And her job is to clear away thieves from this. I am going to do some observation and no one's going to stop me. So she tries to hit Hanuman and he said, look, I am trained not to hit a woman. Unless, of course, she tries to do some hanky-panky. So when she tries to hit him, Hanuman gives her a kick. And all of a sudden, she says, my Lord, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, I was told that if a monkey comes and obstructs me, that is the beginning of the end of Lanka. So I think my job is done. You can be on your way. So Hanuman goes. He sees so many palaces. He chooses the biggest one. And that, of course, is Ravana's palace. Hundreds of rooms. As it is past midnight, their revelry has come to an end. Many are just slumped over their musical instruments. There is a lot of drinking, a lot of eating, and so much of all the material enjoyment which are still popular. It's not like we may say during those times people used to like music. No, they still do. Eating, they still do. The same food in the mode of ignorance, same thing. And then as Hanuman is looking at all the women, suddenly he shivers in horror. What am I doing? I am I am a celibate. I am not supposed to look at women like that. But then he uses his intelligence. Where else would I find Sita? She's a woman and she's kidnapped. Obviously, she has to be with women. My heart is not polluted. I did not waver from my path. I remained true to my objective, and therefore I don't feel any contamination in my heart. So many times when you are doing the task given by your spiritual authority, you also get the protection. Sometimes you may have to disregard a rule, like a sannyasi should not cross the ocean, but Prabhupada did. But because he did cross the ocean, today you and me are talking about Hanuman and Rama and all these things here. Otherwise, we could be talking about so many other things. Is it not? So, breaking a small rule in order to fulfill a major objective, that is allowed under certain emergency conditions. So, Hanuman reassures himself and then he says that, but no, Sita won't be with Ravana. Surely she must be in some other place. So, as he's deeply praying, please give me some clue, give me some clue. This is what happens to you and me also. Sometimes when we are nonplussed, we are confused. The Lord in the heart is there. We just need to turn our gaze and tell Krishna in the heart, please give me a clue. I don't want you to particularly tell me what to do. You can empower anyone around me. So this is one case where Hanuman prays in very intensely and he goes to this place which is called the Ashoka One, the Ashoka forest. So this is the last part of our discussion. He goes and finds that Sita is tortured. There are ogresses and demonesses and all kinds of vile women shouting at her, threatening her. Then in the early morning, Ravana comes and says, why don't you agree to become mine? Don't you know how powerful I am? And this beggar husband of yours, he's already banished. What does he have? Look at me. You marry me and I will make you my most important queen. They say Pattarani. All my other wives will be your servants. Now the question is, if Ravana had always uh, had the policy of getting whatever he wants, why not just forcibly take Sita away? Well, Ravana said, once I did something to one girl and she cursed me. The next time you force yourself upon a woman, you will die. And did he believe in that curse? Not really. But he said, why take a chance? So he's telling Sita, I have never begged and prayed before anyone. She didn't agree. All right, I give you 2 months. If you don't agree to become mine, I will cut you up and eat you raw for breakfast. Now, is that what you tell your girlfriend? That if you don't become mine, I will cut you up? But that's the love uh, process, the Ravana's way. Now, Valmiki Muni, the original author of Ramayana, he doesn't make the reader feel like, oh, look at poor Sita. She's like the female who is always assaulted, always neglected, always forced into doing something. And so today's feminists also feel that why Ramayana makes the woman feel so weak and why is she always but which is a fact. In today's times, offenses and crimes against women, they are almost increasing in all parts of the world, in all different types of shape, way and form. As simple as your office feminism, office sexism, or uh, verbal sexual attacks or whatever. Valmiki says Sita alone is powerful enough to burn Ravan with his entire army. I was so surprised to read that. She's not some hapless, feeble female. She is Ram's internal potency. But why is she acting like that? So that the pastime can come to its proper fruition. So never for a moment think that Ram is just an ordinary male and Sita is an ordinary female. So Ravan threatens her and goes back. Now Hanuman has the task of convincing her that he has come from Ram, is an emissary, and Ram will surely come very soon. So Hanuman is thinking, how do I go about? If I start speaking Sanskrit, she will feel that how come a monkey learns Sanskrit? If I talk in the dialect which is spoken outside Ayodhya, she may or may not be able to understand that. Those passages are so endearing and so sweet. 6, 7 verses of the Ramayana where Hanuman's confusion, you may say, oh, even these big people, they also get confused. Yes, just to show us what to do when we are confused. So as the confusion just mounts up, Hanuman starts meditating on Ram, and he very sweetly, softly starts glorifying Ram. He makes a poem. There was a kingdom of Ayodhya. King Dashrath ruled over it. He was a very pious king. He had 3 wives. Somehow he didn't get a son, but after some arrangement, he got 4: Ram, Shatrughna, Bharat, and Lakshman. Ram and Lakshman were inseparable, just like Bharat and Shatrughna were inseparable. Then Lord Ram got married to Sita. Then they were banished. And then this Sita was kidnapped by this rascal Ravana. The moment he starts singing Ram's glories, his confidence grows. So for you and me, whenever we are nonplussed confused, the only recourse is Krishna Katha or Krishna Nam. And for sure, what worked millions of years ago will work now also. So then, poop, he jumps before Sita. She says, a monkey, very inauspicious. Am I in a dream? But no, I can't be dreaming because I haven't slept for the last 10 months. But seeing a monkey is inauspicious. But this monkey is glorifying Ram. Oh, how nice. She says, please come near, O monkey. And suddenly she feels, no, this is Ravan. He has taken the disguise. So sometimes in devotional practice, when you're trying to help someone, that person may have a very funny understanding about you, may actually accuse you of doing something harmful. So Hanuman says, no, mother, I am not Ravan. And why would Ravan glorify Ram? And then he brings out the ring which was given to him by Ram. Now Sita is completely convinced. So he says that, come on my back, climb my back. I'll right now take you to Ram. She says, thank you, but I can't touch any other person except my husband and Lord Ram. So Hanuman thinks that, but Ravana did touch you, right? When he kidnapped you. Understanding Hanuman's predicament, she says, that was by force. Now if I do that, it will be by choice. I would rather have Lord Ram come here. Besides, you are like the size of a small cat. How can you carry me? Hanuman says, oh, don't worry. I'll show you my original form. And he shows a humongous, gigantic form like a mountain peak. And she says, I am convinced you are powerful. But then something Hanuman says, I really find it so inspiring. He said, Sita, Devi, I am just an ordinary soldier in Sugriva's army. Believe you me, every other monkey is more powerful than me. Now, is it true? Certainly not, isn't it? If others were powerful, they would have jumped. But this is the humility of a Vaishnav. Although capable of doing superhuman tasks, at heart, Hanuman identified himself as an ordinary soldier in Sugriva's army, plus being convinced that everyone else is better than me. This is the essence of Vaishnav behavior. Somebody says, oh, you sing well, or you speak well, or you dance well, you cook well, you manage well, or you write books, or you do this, you do that. Certainly, we don't negate Krishna's power coming through us, but in our heart, we are convinced, not just a fleeting sentiment, but we are thoroughly convinced, if I can sing like this, if Krishna can empower someone next to me, I'm sure they will certainly sing better than me. Somebody can cook better than me, somebody can manage better than me. So, this idea that everyone is better than me is the cornerstone of Dasyaras. And Hanuman, because he played that role to perfection, he is glorified. My last point is Ramayana kind of melodramatic, and it's kind of heart wrenching. It ends not like a fairy tale ending and then Ram and Sita lived happily ever after. In fact, Sita and Ram got separated and so many things happened. So our acharyas give a clue that after Ram killed Ravana, he said, all the monkeys who helped me, I'm taking them back to the spiritual kingdom. And Hanuman said, oh, jolly good, but not you, Hanuman. He says, why not? I want you to help the future practitioner devotees, neophytes who would like to increase their devotion to me by helping them. So the reality is, anyone who utters the word Ram, Hanuman is like in a Wi-Fi connected connection mode. He's there to help you. This is the reality of Ramayana. You just say Ram, please help me, and Hanuman is there. So Hanuman says, all right, whatever your wish. But what do I do? Ram appeared in Treta Yuga, the second millennium, Dwapar and Kali. What do I do all the time? So Hanuman said, oh, I know what to do. I will just read the Ramayana again and again and again and again. So the Acharyas say, if the separation story of Ram and Sita, it's actually inauspicious, or it doesn't give you that nourishment or that juice or that rasa, why would of all personalities Hanuman keep on reading the Ramayana? So the tears of separation, the tears of disappointment, that's merely a superficial understanding. Deep inside, Ram Katha is pure bliss, pure unadulterated happiness. Otherwise, Ram would not tell Hanuman to do it again and again and again. It is not hackneyed, it doesn't become stale, it remains fresh. So, Ram Bhakta Hanuman ki jai, Sri Sita Ram Chandra ki jai, Hare Krishna. So now we have, oh, I think I went over time. Sorry for that.
That's totally okay, Prabhu. This was total nectar. Thank you so much for covering the whole pastime in just about 45 minutes. It's so sweet. I'll just open it up now. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to unmute and ask. This is a wonderful opportunity to have Shyamananda Prabhu with us. So please, anybody.
Hare Krishna, Shamananda Prabhu,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna,
Pranam,
Tina.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for this wonderful kata. You're such a fantastic storyteller. Actually, let me just put this on gallery view so I can see you. I apologize, this might be a little bit of a technical question, but I feel like you are the perfect person to ask. We know that it's related to Ramayan and Ram, but we know that, for example, Krishna and Lord Chaitanya only descends in one day of Brahma.
Yes.
And in the other days or other kalpas where he doesn't, Dwapara Yoga comes before Treta Yoga. But my question is, does Ram always descend in Treta Yoga, and thus the yuga right before Kali Yuga and goes. Does the Bhagavad Gita not happen? I mean, in those cases, how do we receive the Bhagavad Gita? Because it sounds like the Leela of Krishna, Arjuna, and Kurukshetra doesn't happen. But specifically, if Dwapara Yoga comes first before Treta Yoga, does it keep all of its characteristics, such as deity worship, the length of time, the yuga? Could you clarify specifically what happens, I guess, other than what we're experiencing now, where Trita Yuga comes before Dwapara Yuga?
Okay, so this this question haunted me for decades, not just for years, and I got this explanation that Satya, the first one, the golden age, it doesn't say one or the first, but just says Satya. And then Treta and Dwapar, they have connection with three, Treta, three, and Dwa, two. And then Kali, our great illustrious age of quarreling and hypocrisy, whatever. So it's like golden, third, second, and Kali Yuga. So why should it be like three and two? Two should come before three. That's natural. So there is a story of the sage Gautama. His wife is cursed to become like a stone, and Lord Ram would come and relieve her from that curse. So he said that, okay, then let that millennium come first. Does this happen all the time? No. One clue we get from Brahma Samhita is Rama Dimurtishu Kalani Yamena Tishtan Nana Avatarama Karod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Parama Pumanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. They are called scheduled incarnations. Like you go to LaGuardia or JFK and there are scheduled flights. So there is a 5:45 p.m. flight coming from Phoenix, Arizona. And then there is a 6:45 flight coming from Phoenix, Arizona. But the 5:45 flight has an unscheduled stopover at DC airport. So it arrives after the 6:45 flight. It should happen like that. The flight which took earlier has to come earlier. Something like that happens in cosmic time, that this may come first or that may come next to that. Sometimes Vedic time calculation is not linear, it is cyclical. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, again Sunday. So when you say that it was on a Tuesday evening that this thing happened, oh, but which Tuesday? Well, July Tuesday. Which year? On 1975. Because in every month there are 4 Tuesdays at least. So every year there are at least 48 Tuesdays. Every decade there could be 480 Tuesdays. So the avatar understanding is huge. What you read in Shrimad Bhagavatam is just one of Lord Ram's some incidents which happened this time. They may not happen the next time. Something else will happen next time. So Kaliya is subdued by Krishna and then is banished. But in some Dwapar Yugas, Krishna climbs on Kaliya and comes to Mathura rather than coming with Akrura. So would you like your donuts the same way every day? Sometimes you may like some jelly, sometimes you may like something else. Although the main product is the same, but you like a different topping. You like sometimes cream, sometimes no cream. So if we like varieties, this thing comes from the Lord, who also likes a little bit of a variation. Now the question is, if this millennium doesn't become Dwapar, doesn't become, it becomes Treta. So some superficial changes occur, not the main ones. Like the Yuga Dharma for Treta remains the same. Yuga Dharma for Dwapar remains the same. To give you another technical point, if Krishna is considered the main incarnation for Dwapar Yuga, but he came at the very fag end of Dwapar Yuga. It's just like he spent some time, 125 years at the max, spent time with the Pandavas, the Battle of Kurukshetra, gave the Bhagavad Gita, brought all his family to Dwarka, and boom, vanished. So, when Krishna wants to give the Bhagavad Gita, don't worry, he will use some kind of a excuse and give it anyway. So, every Kali Yuga begins with the knowledge book being given. But how many will accept it? That depends on you and me. So, technically, you are correct that Treta is 3, Dwapar is 2. And in our experience, our 4 yuga cycle, it is Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. There is another mathematical calculation which says that this remains the same. It is always Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. So there are two divergent views by authorities, and my intellect is not that elastic that it stretches to cover both. I am just satisfied that whichever way Ram comes, the Ramayana story is here. Whichever way Krishna comes, the Bhagavad Gita is here. So these are some thoughts on that. But if you are technically interested, I have someone who can give you a very lengthy explanation. He can give you the data also if you are interested. Yeah, I have this policy that you can ask any questions in Bhakti Yoga. Do not feel that, well, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I'm associating with devotees, but there is one technical query which nobody has answered. Don't worry. When you are ready, the knowledge will come. That's the policy for Bhakti Yoga.
Thank you so much, Shyamananda Prabhu. I would love to read it, and it's a question that plagued me. I don't know if you like to pass it to Garg.
Same thing, yeah.
One, just that explanation makes a lot of sense. And when you had mentioned that other, I guess they're trying to say that it's always straight to the Dwarpa. One, just I guess thought is that if Dwarpa comes first and it keeps all its characteristics, then the Yuga Dharma, it doesn't quite make sense from the explanation that we're given that in Satya Yoga, it's the purest and it's meditation. And then the next Yuga, because they're not so pure, they have to do sacrifices. So if Dwarpa comes first and it's almost like it jumps and says it's deity worship, which is actually, I don't say it's more degraded, it's given to humans or beings because they're not qualified enough to do the sacrifices properly. So it sounds like it's also switched, that it couldn't be possible from degradation, that it would be meditation, the deity worship, then sacrifices, and then chanting of the holy name, because hypothetically, because one is not qualified enough to do sacrifices, therefore they do deity worship. And that's why in Kali Yuga we're so unqualified. We can't meditate, we can't do sacrifices properly, we can't do deity worship properly. That's why we're given chanting of the holy name. And so in that concept, that flow also, I guess, is broken, because it goes purest, then third pure, and then goes more pure, and then least pure, in this cycle of degradation of beings.
There is a small hint given in our Srimad Bhagavatam. It's not like Satya becomes Treta, Treta becomes Dwapar. It's like December gives way for Jan. So once there is Jan 2021, no way you can go back to December. Time has moved forward. That doesn't happen in Vedic calculation. It's not like yesterday was Dwapar and today is Kali. The changes are very gradual. Number one. It's like you may say, oh, it is Jan and it is not snowed yet. Well, in some years, even in New York, it didn't snow, although it is Jan, although it is February. And sometimes, although it is the last week of March, hey, still there is a snow day prediction. So sometimes you say, this is not supposed to happen like that, but it does. So similarly, how exactly is a yoga change detected? By the behavior of the general population, how much cheating goes on, how much of a particular thing is not productive anymore. Like you say, meditation. Suddenly you find people's lives getting shortened. So then the authorities say, oh, because there is a change, now this is this yoga. So by seeing the symptoms, how, like they say, he's COVID positive. No, he's not. Oh, he tested negative, but still having symptoms. So things are not black and white, right? So similarly, it is the authorities, the Rishi Munis, they kind of detect, like the Naimisharanya Rishis, they came to know that Parikshit Maharaj's reign has ended. It seems like Kali Yuga has begun, and therefore they start the sacrifice. So many times it depends on these empowered personalities to declare something as, oh, this is the same age, or no, this age has changed, therefore you change the modalities. It's kind of very structured like that.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
So before we go to the next question, I just want to say that we have Ram Vijay Prabhu's son here, Vijay Krishna, who's also joined us. So thank you so much, Vijay Krishna Prabhu, for being here.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, anybody else? Anybody else has any questions?
Gorguna Prabhu, if you have any comments on this technical things, I know you read a lot.
No, no, no problem.
In fact, you and Nitya Mataji both read a lot. So please free to jump in and help me whenever I fumble or I might not give the proper details.
No, no. I've also thought about this, and I've also thought about this the number of the lifespan 100,000, 10,000, 1,000, and 100. So if we swap everything, then how does that fall into place? Because
Yeah.
so that was one thing that I used to always think about. But your
I
answer
was
is perfect.
thinking of that as well, Garg Prabhu.
Anyone else? Jitendra Prabhu?
Thank you so much, Shyamananda Prabhu, for the class. It was amazing, the pure nectar. Yeah, we were kind of transported to the Leela, and it was very nice. One thing I do want to ask, like related to these technical questions, and there are many other such questions which our human intellect cannot grasp, right? So, so to what? So one way is, of course, we try to figure out. We go here, we read that, we try to figure out, we try to do this, do that. We do many things. We one way is to try to figure it out. Another way is to kind of put it in an inconceivable box and let it go. For now, let it go. And as you said, it will be revealed when I am capable to receive it, right? So when we have to decide between these two, where should the balance be? Where should the, like, there are certain things that whatever we do, we'll not get any answers. Like, our intellect will never be satisfied. So so to what extent should we go, trying to figure it out? And then at what point should we just put it in the inconceivable box and forget about it for now and let Krishna reveal it to us?
Very good question. And we have our Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita helping us practitioners both ways. One is there is full encouragement for using your intellect. Like today, especially in the West, people feel so angry that why my religion doesn't allow me to use my intellect. So I don't know if you're aware, but there was a very popular TV series called The Big Bang Theory, very popular in America. And Chaitanya Charan Prabhu kind of discovered and he found there is a philosophy book on that. So there, one character is saying, I want to start a new religion, and the only commandment is, thou shalt not remain stupid. So that's the humor, that religions tell you that leave your shoes and your brain at the door and then enter. So many have this kind of fear that, am I not supposed to think? But this is as plain as the nose on my face, man. How can you say that? So Siddhanta Baliya na kare alas. Siddhanta Baliya. Just because it is Siddhanta, do not become lazy. Sudrida Manas. Krishna lagi Sudrida Manas. You use your intelligence. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Sri Chaitanya Daya Karah Vichar, Vichar Karile Chitte Pabe Chamatkar. Use your intelligence to understand Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, and which means Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad, everything. So much so for encouraging us to proceed further. So just because you say, Prabhu, my problem is I think. No, that's not a problem. That's kind of sets you on the right course. Now that you are a pilgrim on the journey of understanding things intellectually, you have to understand what are the resources I have, whether my intellect is capable enough, pure enough. So now comes the part of how much can I understand? So it's just like you work in IT. If there is a new movie like Avatar 2 or whatever, which requires like 1000 terabytes of computing RAM, and your computer doesn't support that. So it will crash all the time. So if your machinery doesn't support the processing, you'll get frustrated. So when you try and you feel that it is not working now, that is the time to put things in the, as you rightly said, very nicely put, the inconceivable box kind of thing. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, actually, Arjun, how much can you understand through your intelligence? Because Arjuna says, Vistarena, Krishna, tell me everything about yourself. And Krishna says, everything? I can't, I can't tell everything, Arjun, because you can't understand, you can't grasp everything. But then Krishna gives a hint as to how he is inconceivable. Now, the word inconceivable means which cannot be thought about, which cannot be captured by your mind. And then there is an analogy given to help you capture with your mind. So, how does it make sense? Two things stand in our Bhakti wisdom text. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we have Advaita Acharyas asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I have a question about your Virat Roop. Could you please clarify? Let's see who's asking whom. Mahavishnu is asking Krishna, I have a question which is yet unanswered. And secondly, Vishwanath Chakravarti Pad got a dream where he was told that Radharani's bodily features, they are like 24 and a half moons. This is explained in the teaching of Lord Chaitanya. So he said, I can count up to 24. Where is the half? And the answer is not revealed so easily. So what I gather from that is, if your intellectual vehicle hits a bump on your highway, do not go back. You can't go further because there is no road, there is a dead end. Just wait till the road manifests. If you have started on a journey of 1000 kilometers and you're at 145 kilometers now, so that doesn't mean you have made full progress because now you're stopped. But that doesn't mean you have not made any progress. You made so far. Check. The second step is check on all the various concepts which you have understood intellectually. Are they helpful in your bhakti life right now? If they are, There is no need to give up the vehicle or no need to give up the journey. It's like you want bread, you get bread. You want butter, you also got butter. Now you want jam and jelly, and it is not coming. So we say at least for the next few days, at least be satisfied with bread and butter. At least it's not. You don't need to starve your intellect by not eating anything, by giving up the process. And jam and jelly, if they are there, they will come for sure. If doubts have troubled the minds of personalities much more powerful than you and me, then you understand it is part of the game. There will always be something which is like how once Radhanand Maharaj gave an explanation. He said this temple hall at Chowpatty, if you tell an ant at this particular corner that this whole hall is about 600 by 200, 150 feet, how much time will it take for you to crawl over the whole space? And she may say, oh, I can't think about it. It's too much. And if you tell that ant that, there are human beings who can go from one end to another within 2 minutes, and her answer would be impossible. So this world is arranged in such a way that what is completely plausible for you is bonkers for somebody else. How can you even believe in a God who's blue and who's a covered boy and too much? But you may say, well, I haven't seen that, but I have seen someone who has seen him, and his life is so exemplary. So what I'm attracted to is not the concept, but the lifestyle. Like Jayadeva Swami once said, I was so close to Srila Prabhupada, I could get a glimpse of the quality of his mentality, the quality of his mindset, the quality of his thoughts. And I want that in my life. I don't want to levitate. I don't want to understand people's minds. I don't want to charm people by my speech. I want a mind like Prabhupada's mind. So the progress is there to help you stay on. The challenges are there to help you probe. And Bhakti life is a balance of both.
So much, Prabhuji. That really helped me take the message home. Like Mahavishnu is asking,
Let's see.
I have a doubt. I don't know. This is so clear. And this is Mahavishnu from whose pores everything is coming out. So, thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, you're welcome.
So Prabhuji, it's almost 8 o'clock your time. Do you have some more time, Prabhu? Or
I have all the time.
Okay, thank you. So before we go to the next question, I want to share some good news. So our Vinay Prabhu is getting married next month in California.
Congratulations.
He wanted to announce it in front of Shyamananda Prabhu and sing.
Oh, how sweet.
Yes, please go ahead, Prabhu.
Seeking your blessings, Prabhuji. Yeah, marriage is on this May 14th in San Diego, at the house of the girl only. Sindhu Kanya is her name. Like she's disciple of Vaishashika Prabhu and Nirakula.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and her parents stay in San Diego only. So yeah, I'm gonna send personal invitation to all devotees here, and we'll love to see you there. And if not, like at least
Any of your folks coming from Nagpur?
my parents are coming through. My parents, yeah, my brother and my aunt. 4 of them are coming. Hopefully, I mean they can reach. Like, let's see.
What are the regulations once they come? It is like 10 days of self-isolation?
I mean that is recommended, but like when boarding the flight, they should have like COVID negative report.
Oh yeah, that is there from the Indian side. Yes.
After coming here, 10 days quarantine recommended.
So wish you all a very, very happy Krishna conscious married life. We all know Vinay Prabhu, his enthusiasm. Once while on the F train from Manhattan to LaGuardia, one gentleman, I have to call him a gentleman, he got so angry that my one of the luggage pieces I had was hitting him. I thought gently, but he thought it was good enough to disturb his valuable rest while on the train. And then he started saying that all of you good for nothing people, and you put on these robes and you make a big charade of being religious, and I would like to bash your face or blah 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 blah. And I could see Vinay Prabhu almost becoming my private security guard and doing something. So I said, please don't do anything. He said, no, these fellows, they need to be disciplined. So I was so impressed that he was just told to accompany me, and I could see the sattvic anger welling up in his eyes. So I'm very impressed, Vinay Prabhu, by your by your courage. I don't even know whether you remember this story.
Yeah, like that guy was crazy, Prabhuji. Hope like you forgave him.
Hey, come on. So, and then I think Vinay Prabhu was also along with you know other devotees, especially the New York University group with Vishal Prabhu and others. They are the mainstay of our Brooklyn program, right? So now, of course, because of COVID, we may not be having in-person programs, but I always remember with fondness how enthusiastic you were, and especially our first yatra to New Vrindavan. Vinay was always there helping with everything. So all of you kindly bless him and his bride, that they enter Grihastha ashram, face all the challenges with a brave heart, and she's already initiated, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, and she would be working.
Yes, Prabhu. She
Oh,
worked
so
in
both of you. So where will you settle then after
uh,
marriage?
San Francisco, Prabhuji.
I see. I see.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Very good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Last thing,
Yes.
I am your so-called whatever, give you philosophical thoughts or something, but now since you are becoming Grahastha, I formally hand over you to Gaur Kumar Prabhu and Nitya Mataji. So everything you need in your Grahastha life, you can find in their example. So please be under their tutelage. Today, many people feel marriage is like a, it's like a vast uncharted ocean, and whether there are cyclones or tornadoes or sharks or Bermuda triangles, whatever waiting for them, and only when things come from push to shove, as they say, they take help of some marital counseling or whatever. What I feel is, why not just make good friendship with senior grihastas who have been there, done that, and understand from their example. So I would heartily recommend that you be under the care of course, your wife to be is under Vaishishika Prabhu, who also is an exemplary grihastha couple in ISKCON. So the more you are surrounded by resources, the more you both will be able to face challenges. Um, it is not like marriage has a textbook kind of thing that, okay, confusion, page 71, what to do? Okay, some discord, page 42. You will be having your own unique situations which may not be found in any textbook. But the beauty is, an experienced grahastha will teach you how to see your solution on page 41. You see, everything is unique. We are all unique. If you and somebody else are exactly the same, one of you is redundant, and Krishna doesn't make anyone redundant. He has made all of us in unique ways. So there are unique ways to experience Krishna. And so sorry to say, there are unique ways to fight each other also. Like sometimes people say, Prabhu, you don't understand. My situation is unique. So I say, of course, you are an individual, unique part of Krishna. Your situation has to be unique. just see whether the solution is like applicable to yourself in your situation. So uh, we are very happy that we have Gaur Kumar Prabhu here and his wife Nitya Mataji. So please be under their care and be happy and prosperous. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. That valuable advice and your all the valuable words. I should meditate on those. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shaman Prabhu. That is so sweet, wonderful blessings, and thank you, very grateful. The next thing I wanted to say was that when you talked about New Vrindavan Yatra, so we are still continuing that, Prabhu. So we're going to Vrajdam in May.
Wow!
Yes,
Hey.
that is also something that you started, and so many of the devotees here will be joining us. And because now most of us are vaccinated and Vrajdam is open, so we decided to all go. In fact, Vrinda Mataji is flying over from California, and so most of us will be going.
Remember, we had to rush back to help Vrinda get her flight.
Yes, Prabhu, amazing. I remember everything. Yeah.
And initially it was like, oh, we have 1 hour at least. What will they be doing at the airport for 1 extra hour?
Yes.
It was just a hit and miss kind of thing. We reached about 15 or 20 minutes. So
Yeah.
that day in some American news YouTube channel, there was this, that, what is the name of that bridge? Verrazano or something?
Tarzana, yeah.
Yeah. And that bridge was shaking because of heavy wind.
Yes.
And I saw that. I said, hey, I remember we were there on that bridge, stuck for almost 45 minutes.
Yes. Amazing, Prabhu. You remember all the small details. That's amazing.
Prabhu, this was my first visit to New Vrindavan, and all of you made it so memorable. So I don't know when will America open. Maybe our flights will be, I think by 22, 21 is washed out, the way India is now reeling under the force. But you please keep on meeting together. And New Vrindavan also is open, right, for
Yes,
guests?
Prabhuji. Yeah, New Vrindavan is also open. Yeah.
So what are the dates for your, not New Vrindavan, but your New Vraja?
May 21st, Prabhuji. May 21st, 22nd, 23rd.
I see.
If possible and if you are available, we would like to have a Zoom call.
Oh,
If
why
possible.
not? Why not?
Oh, thank you.
But please bear in mind, I remember as soon as we entered Harrisburg, our connectivity was not that good.
Yes.
But anyway, if it is there, I'll surely be. Is it the Labor Day weekend or something?
Yes, Prabhu. So that is New Vrindavan. We plan to go during Labor Day weekend. But now Vrajdam, we plan to go one day before Memorial Day weekend, 1 week before Memorial Day.
Okay. Memorial Day weekend. Yeah.
Yes.
So hope you have a very nice time. New Braja is like a very nice place with Yamuna and Govardhan.
Yes. Prabhu.
Very hospitable people, right?
Yes.
I've seen the staff eager to welcome us, help us out in any small way. We would say, oh, we won't take breakfast now. We'll take in half an hour. So, no problem. You can come anytime.
Yeah. And their Mangalati is at 7:30, which is anyway. So anyone else? Srivas Prabhu has also joined us. Paul, if you have any comments, yeah. Srivas Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Very amazing class, Prabhu. Really very inspiring. Hanumanji's character, and you shared this point about his humility, the way he says how he's just one of the ordinary soldiers. That was very inspiring. Prabhu, would you like to share some points about what Srila Prabhupada wanted us to learn from Hanumanji's character and his attitude? Prabhupada often, I think, gave this example, that Hanumanji is an example of how to use the energy of the Lord in the service of the Lord, reunite the Lord and his energy.
Yes.
Is there
Okay,
any
first point is Ravana is after Sita because attracted by her beauty. Hanuman is after Sita. So what's the difference? One wants to capture Sita and use her for his own enjoyment. The other wants to capture Sita, he sought Sita. He tried to find out where she is, only to reunite her with her Lord. So this is a major difference. So a devotee may be seen as ambitious. I want this job, I want this post, I want to grow my business or whatever. If you are a servant of Hanuman, go ahead. Use that opportunity to unite Sita in the form of Lakshmi, fame, material acquisitions, or whatever. Unite that with Ram, and your role as a servant of Hanuman is fulfilled. Second point, Prabhupada would say two, three times I heard it in lectures. People think becoming a Vaishnava is like becoming timid. Oh, Prabhu, Ami Tomar Das, I'm just a servant. Hey, world, come and trample all over me, use me any way you like. Prabhupada said, no, that's a sentiment we reserve within the Vaishnava community. In the outside world, if someone tries to do something and you get an order from your authority, like Lord Ram said, Hanuman, go and destroy Lanka. So Prabhupada said, actually, there are only two major battles worthy of being called a cosmic battle. One is Battle of Kurukshetra, the other is the Ram Ravan battle. And the heroes of both these battles were Vaishnavas, Arjun and Hanuman. So never for a moment think that bhakti makes you uh, emasculated or you lose your urge to do something. In fact, trying to dovetail all your energies into the service of Krishna requires the biggest ambition force. It requires superhuman strength. Enthusiasm is one thing. Enthusiasm is to begin a task. Patience is to keep on doing that. So don't think it is cheap. Don't think it is, oh, because this guy failed in everything. Like, people say, oh, you have taken to Krishna consciousness, failed at school, failed at business, failed in marriage, failed in love life, failed in everything. So now you are becoming a devotee. No way. You don't offer your defeats to Krishna. You offer your successes to Krishna. But after offering the success, you don't claim ownership. That's the part of the training to show that we are properly trained or not. So Hanuman tells Ram that, my lord, you're asking what reward I want. The only reward I want is nothing should disrupt the master servant relationship between two of us. Bhavan Prabhur Aham Dasa iti yatra na vilupyate. I don't care for liberation. I don't deny it. I'm not averse to it. I'm not attracted towards it. But if something happens where our relationship gets disturbed, that you are not my lord and I'm not your servant, that's non-negotiable. This is Hanuman's spirit.
Thank you, Prabhu. That was very inspiring.
So Kameshwari Mataji from ISV has a question. So Mataji, you can unmute and please ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry, I know it's late. Thank you for taking the question. I joined a little late also, so I didn't hear the full speech. But I don't know if this is covered already. So my question, I had two questions. Prabhuji, one thing is that Hanuman is we know that we heard that he stays on Bhumandala. And I wanted to ask, was that an instruction from Lord Ram to him? And if he is here, then is he in Kimpurusha Varsha, like we read in the Bhagavatam? He's in Kimpurusha Varsha, and also he is in Ayodhya. So is he like he can appear like Vishnu Duta everywhere, like that, or how we can understand this? This is my first question.
Okay, so Hanuman is a highly empowered servant of Ram. Ram promised that anyone who has helped me, I'm going to personally take them back to the spiritual world. And everybody was very happy. We covered this. Maybe that time you had not joined, except you, Hanuman. And he said, why me? Why keep me here? Because Ram says, I trust you. I trust you that anyone desirous of developing devotion unto me would be helped by you only. So Hanuman is in Kimpurush Loka, Hanuman is in Bhumandal, Hanuman is anywhere where Lord Ram's name is chanted. And then Hanuman said, but what do I do when I'm not on call? He was told, you read Ramayana. So this is there in Nectar of Devotion in the Rasa Theology chapter, that if Ramayana could be a, like a, they say about movies, a tear jerker, you heard of that? You just go to the movie with a lot of Kleenex tissues and you keep on crying. And in India, we have this Sas Bahu kind of movies. Are you from South India or
I'm
from
from
North?
Maharashtra.
Oh, you're from Maharashtra. So you know how the daughter-in-law is tortured by the mother-in-law, those kind of situations. And people pay money to kind of see those movies. But when real life is good enough to make you tearful, why pay money to go to movies? So I never understood this. But Ramayana is not a tear-jerker kind of thing, that everything ends in disappointment. Ram and Sita are separated and everything. No. If this was a mundane thing, Hanuman would not have been told to read Ramayana again and again and again. So Hanuman reads that by the dint of his spiritual potency, he is simultaneously in Ayodhya, the spiritual Ayodhya also. Prabhupada told us by hearing Shrimad Bhagavatam, you can associate with the Lord. So he's doing that. And at the same time, he's available for you and me whenever we chant Ram's name. As simple as that.
Thank you. And if there is time, I have one more question. Is that okay?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Okay. So, Prabhu, this is just, I was just speaking with my family back in India, and during the discussion, we were discussing about Lord Chaitanya, that he is a Patita Pavana. And then one of my aunts, she mentioned that Ram is also Patita Pavana because they know this Mahatma Gandhi's bhajan, Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sita Ram. And so we understand that Lord in all his incarnations has delivered the fallen in so many ways, in different instances. But we always see Lord Chaitanya is the Shiromani, he's the Patita Pavan, because so I was trying to explain that Lord Chaitanya, Lord Krishna asked for surrender, but Lord Chaitanya doesn't even ask for that, and he is giving the bhakti freely. Like in those lines I was explaining, but I wanted to hear what would be the right answer to say when it comes to the comparison, like, okay, Lord Chaitanya is a Patita Pavan, but Rama is also Patita Pavan, then how we can mitigate that?
The
I mean,
dispute between people who are on the path of bhakti about whether Ram is the Purna Avatar or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Purna Avatar or Krishna is Purna Avatar, that is a love dispute, prema kalaha. It's like 10 people who like sweets, they have converged together, and then they say whether basundi is better than firni is better than donuts are better than cakes are better than rasgulla. They all love prasadam, they all love sweets. Now within this 10-member group discussion, somebody comes and says that, actually chicken burgers are also good. And they may say, what? Who allowed this guy here inside? Here we are talking about using sattvic ingredients, cooking them with love and devotion, offering them to our deities, and then we are relishing them. When that relishment is going on, disagreements are allowed. If somebody in Dasyaras, like Hanuman's follower, if he goes to Braj and finds the gopis are discussing, that rascal Krishna, I mean, he's such a flirt. He gave up the company of our Radharani and now he's going to some other girl. Wait till he comes. I'm going to hammer him with my shoes. And he may say, my lord, what kind of devotion is this? But it is a approved method of devotion. When the gopis were told that if you feel Krishna is so fickle and is so unreliable, give up talking about him. They say that's the problem. We can't. The gopi who goes to sell in Mathura curds, ghee, butter, and milk, she's selling. Anybody wants Govinda? Anybody wants some Gopal? Please take Govind, please take Gopal. And say, are you mad? What are you selling? Govind and Gopal? I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I meant milk and yogurt and butter. So, who are you and me to say that this devotion is better or that devotion is better, when in fact it's like two beggars go before the most famous jewelry shop in Manhattan, Tiffany's or whatever, and they say, I like that necklace. And the other guy says, no, 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 I like the one on the left. But do you have any purchasing power? You have hardly any money to cover your bare back, and you're talking of jewelry worth millions. So, you and me, we do not enter the dispute area where we say that no, 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 Ram is better than Krishna or Krishna is better than. We say, who is talking, especially in India, in your Indian context, people feel that we Hare Krishnas have a monopoly on the truth. We don't. People feel that after chanting Hare Krishna, you have a holier than thou attitude. We don't. We are here to make friends. That doesn't mean buckling under pressure. But if somebody says that, and that's why there is a story of Murari Gupta, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling him, Murari, Bala Krishna, chant Krishna. So he says, chant Krishna. Krishna's name is more mellow laden, is more sweeter than Ram. 3 times Ram's name is equal to 1 time Krishna's name. And Murari Gupta says, I am sorry. All night I tried, but I can't. This was a test of Lord Chaitanya, and Mahaprabhu said, no wonder you cannot. You are Hanuman. How can you give up the loyalty towards your Lord Ram? Just in order to glorify you in front of the assembly of Vaishnavas, I forcibly made you chant Ram's name, but you could not, and that's your glory. Prabhupada in 2-3 purports in Bhagavatam as well as CC, if you want, you can ask me later, I'll find them for you. Prabhupada says, people ask us, what is the Ram in your Hare Krishna Maha Mantra? Is it the Bhagirath? Is it Parshuram? Is it Balaram? Or is it Ayodhyapati Ram? And Prabhupada said, never mind. Just chant Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Hare Krishna.
So Paul Prabhu has a point.
Sure.
Hare Krishna, Shyamananda.
Hare Krishna.
I don't have a specific question right now, but Gaur Kumar, before we started tonight, said that I would enjoy your class, and he severely undersold how amazing you were. So thank you so much. It was wonderful. Been reading a lot about Hanuman the last few days, so to hear these stories from you was just
really?
really special. Yeah, my wife was preparing some things for the kids that she works with, so we were reading some stories.
Any specific book you are reading?
No,
Or
just
from
anything I
Ramayana?
could find online from the Ramayana and different
I see.
interpretations. Yeah. So to hear these stories from you were really, really, really great. And I'm sure she's going to enjoy watching this tomorrow once it's up. So thank you. I look forward to having your association again.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anyone else? Vishal Prabhu, Karan Prabhu, and then we can end after that. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Good
Vishalji,
to,
where are
good
you?
to. I am in New Jersey, Prabhuji, living with Karan Prabhu.
I see. Okay, okay.
Yeah, so I'm missing you, like missing association.
Same here.
Prabhuji, I have one question that not so intellectual, but my question is that Hanuman was asked to find out Sita and then come back by Sugriva, I think in 30 days or something.
Yeah.
But once Hanuman met Sita, so what he did, he did something extra also. He burnt the entire Lanka and just showed Ravana the power of being the servant of Lord Ram, and so many were waiting beyond the sea like that. So my question is like, for me, I feel like that extra. How can I develop that extra, to that extra thing that I can do? Because for me, what happens is once I'm done with my rounds, I feel I have done with my quota. Whereas with material rasa, I just need more and more quota. So, but like Hanuman, I just feel like I really don't have that thing. So how can I, maybe some little bit more to do for
Very
Krishna?
interesting thing. Very interesting thing. He first of all offered Mother Sita. Right now, jump on my back. We go back to Ayodhya. We go back to Kishkinda. End of story. She refuses. Gives proper reasons. Why? The game plan of Ramayana is not just to have Hanuman jumping from one point to another. Ravana has to be destroyed. The mentality of Ravana has to be destroyed. All those who were following Ravana, thinking that this is a challenge for you and me also. Is it better to serve Ravan and get more pay and more compensation? Or is it to become a devotee of Ram and be happy with some paltry pay? So, this question will always be asked of all of us. And Hanuman made that choice. No matter what, always serve Ram. So now that Sita Devi is saying, I won't come, he said, Mother, please give me permission. I would like to show Ravan a small glimpse of what an empowered servant of Ram can do. She gives him permission. And when they set fire to his tail, Hanuman is saying, how come I don't feel any heat? Because there is Mother Sita praying to Agni, please, please protect him. So even when we want to go beyond our quota, we are always in a blessing seeking mode. I want to increase something. So we pray to the Vaishnavas for inspiration. We see an opportunity. We pray to the Vaishnavas for permission to do that. Once empowered, then things happen very nicely. So that's what we learn from Hanuman. Otherwise, you're right. We always will be complacent, as they say, rest on our laurels. Itna kiya, bahut ho gaya. What I've done is more than enough. We need to increase. We need to give something extra, but that happens when we are in the proper mindset.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That helps.
Thank you, Prabhu. Vrinda Mataji wanted to speak a few words. And then
Yes, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Sorry, I was like going back home, so I had to, like, the connectivity was so bad. I just love the class so much, and especially the way you said the poem, like Hanumanji was telling Sita Mata, that was like so nice. It was like just exact how he must have recited it. It was so beautiful. Thank you so much. And I'm not sure if you have time for questions, but
How's your mom doing?
oh, mom is good. So she was actually here for a few weeks. So yeah, it's nice. And so
she's in Ahmedabad, right?
yeah, she's in Ahmedabad, but she was visiting me because she sort of had to like she was switching jobs because like she's getting old, so that was getting too hectic for her. So she had a gap in between, so that's why she was here. So
we heard that Ahmedabad also had some rise in cases. So is everybody safe at home?
Yeah, everyone's safe. I mean, they all had COVID earlier, so that's why they're.
They went through that. My God.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, they were so mom, she didn't get, like, it's weird, like everyone else at home they got once, but she luckily didn't get infected because maybe, I don't know, like she must have treated patients or got some antibodies or whatever, but till now she's fine. So yeah.
Please convey my pronouns to her whenever you next meet her, talk to her, because I think we met in the Brooklyn temple, right? Once you had come with her.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
she
yeah.
remembers your lecture, like at Mataji and Prabhuji's house, you gave the lecture. She specifically remembers that part. You said that how Indians and Westerners, like Indians are like traveling, their direction of going towards God. You said something about that. So
Yeah.
remembers that vividly. Yeah, and so yeah, it was really nice seeing you after so many days.
Same here,
Yeah.
same here. Are you going to brunch next month?
Yeah, I'm going.
Okay, good.
Fully. Yeah, I was just telling Mataji Prabhuji, I'm the only like over enthusiastic human coming all the way from there. So let's see. Yeah, but I'm coming, hopefully. So I had this little question, Prabhuji, like not sure if you have time, but
Please
maybe.
Please go ahead.
So yeah, so you were also mentioning that then like Ramayana is not a fairy tale, and we do hear different explanations of Sita Vanvas, but like we are told that Ramji he teaches us how every human should live. So I'm never convinced with any explanation of that what is Lord Ram trying to teach us by sending Sita Mata to exile.
Oh,
so, I mean,
we can have a whole day's discussion on that. I'll try to compress it. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Sita and Ram, they are not like two lovebirds, and suddenly cruel destiny and fate comes in, and then they are separated. And oh, Romeo, where are you? Why can't you be mine? And all these Romeo, Juliets, Heer Ranja, and whatever every culture has them, they are like a Xerox copy, a photocopy of the original rasa exchange between the Lord and his energy. Shakti Matayor Abheda. This is the Upanishadic Vakya. Sun and sunshine cannot be separated. The sun is in all its glory, but no sunshine doesn't make sense. There is sunshine everywhere, but can't locate the sun. That also is not a possibility. Our acharyas then describe what exactly drives the rasa: union and separation. Both of them are tastes. For you and me, it could be a test, it could be punishment. You may say, don't put me in that guy's team. And somehow you land up in the same, and you say, I can't stand this person. So in our human interaction, we don't like someone, but we are forced to stay with them. We like someone, but we can't stay with them. This is to be seen as a replica, not a replica exactly, but a uh, like a imperfect representation of the rasa theology. Why Krishna and Radha they meet? Because that is the rasa of union. Why do they get separated? To taste that rasa of separation. So it is mentioned in some Puran that Vishnu tells Lakshmi, "O Devi, in a future incarnation, I will be tasting the mellow of separation from you." And she says, "Oh, really?" And then she asks, "Which one is that?" So he talks about Ram Leela. So please do not go in the mode of whether there is injustice because she was a woman, therefore she was done, this kind of injustice was done to her because she cannot complain. No way. Ram and Sita can never be separated. But just for the sake of a pastime, that separation takes place. The Lord also puts Maryada on himself. That's why you might have heard the word Maryada Purushottam Ram. But who put the Maryada? Who put the limit? Who put the stricture that you have to follow this? He himself. The sages of Dandakaranya say Look at us. We are like emaciated, thin, hardly eaten anything, niggardly dressed, long beards. The veins of the body are visible. That means not very glamorous looking, for example. And these sadhus are saying, somehow we are uttered in conjugal rasa with you. What to do, Lord Ram? What to do? He said, this particular Leela, Eka Patni Vrat. Nobody is forcing him. He has told himself. But in Krishna Leela, all of you can come as gopis. So a big chunk of the gopis, they were actually toughened, hard as nails, austere like anything, tapasvis. We just see them as uneducated village girls. No way. Look at their background. So, if you understand the union and separation funda, when the Lord wants union, there are leelas where they unite. And for the sake that the next union may be sweet, there is separation. But that separation is not eternal. That separation only makes the heart grow more fonder. So union, separation, vipralamba, and then sambhog, this goes on eternally. In some leelas, there is no consort. When Narsimha came, there was no consort, but we have Lakshmi, Narsimha, Mamadehi, Karavalambam. So she's not separate from him. Varaha Lakshmi. Varadev came, there was no Lakshmi there, but she's always there. So sometimes she's inert, not very much prakat, not very much obvious in the Leela, but she's always there. So never for a moment feel that if this is for human society's edification, what kind of lesson is that? Well, the lesson is this is something which you should not do. When Lord Ram is lamenting for Sita, 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 like somebody might say, I lost my wife. Of course, somebody might be happy about that in today's times, but let us say in olden times when people were putting a notice that, like you see, you go to North India and Kumbh Mela, Kumari Devi, आयु 28 साल, गुमशुदा है, she is lost, खोया पाया, if you are lost and found. Now, if Ram is lamenting in such a way, he's asking stones and trees. So at least Tulsidas mentions in his Ramayan, he is showing the behavior of a kami, of a person who has given to mundane lust. This is what you should avoid. Krishna, when he marries 16,000, you don't follow Krishna by marrying 16 first, then 160, then 1600, right? The Acharyas strictly forbid you. Don't imitate. So similarly, if somebody is too much attached, then this could be the result, so beware. So that is the lesson which Acharyas find from various pastimes. Otherwise, when Lord Ram said, you were with Ravan, who knows what happened? I can't accept you. People are saying, my goodness, after doing so much, now he's saying, Sita, you go to whoever you want. I can't take you back to Ayodhya. Lord Chaitanya met one Brahmana in South India, and Lord Chaitanya asked him, it is noon time, any possibility of some lunch? He's saying that, well, if Lakshman brings something, then Sita will cook, and then Lord Ram will be offered, and then we'll get the remnants. And Lord Chaitanya was so happy. Hey, this man is staying in Kali Yuga, but in his mind, he's only in Ramlila. And then he finds him very sad. My dear Brahmana, why are you so sad? How can a materialist like Ravana even touch Sita? Lord Chaitanya does not answer that. He goes ahead on his travels. See the arrangement. In one temple, there is a Kurma Puran copy. Mahaprabhu asked those scholars. He takes two verses, and they are there in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela chapter 14. if I'm not mistaken. Just 2 days ago, we were reading with one group. Those two verses explain that when Ravana came to kidnap Sita, a replica of the spiritual Sita was made. Ravan could only touch her. The Sita which he had was the material model Sita. Ravana was conquered. The material model Sita was in front of everybody. And how do we do the real thing without exposing the truth? So Lord Ram says, you need to be tested in fire. Why fire? Because Agni Dev was the demigod who was entrusted with the spiritual Sita. So she enters the fire. Agni Dev brings her out. Everybody thinks that, wow, what a miracle. There is a miracle in one sense. But the Maya Sita got merged in the spiritual Sita, and the spiritual Sita came in front of Ram. So this is how Ram does things. They are very sweet. They are very mysterious. And there is one small component. Because our buddhi, our intelligence is like Ravan, and we want to capture the essence of Krishna's pastimes, which is impossible. Our logic cannot touch her like Ravana cannot touch. But there are some who want to delude themselves that we can understand God via our mundane intelligence. And when they can't, they are like bees trying to taste the honey from outside the bottle. They need to be given some excuse. Because Krishna says, I give intelligence, whether pure or impure, it comes from me. So they get the intelligence that this story is not worth studying because it has some kind of injustice towards women. Oh, I don't approve of that. So that fork is always there. You can take a left turn and come to some atheistic conclusion. You can take a right turn and come to the Acharya's conclusion. So deliberately the Leela goes in such a way so as to delude the minds of the impious or unfaithful.
Wow, wonderful, Prabhu. On that note, I think it's time. So thank you so much, Shyamananda Prabhu. Again, very, very grateful that you could be with us for such a long time. So let's all say one quick Hari Bol to Shyamananda Prabhu, and we can't all.
Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpataru kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namah.
Koti Vaishnavans ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much.
Shyamananda Prabhu ki
Jai.
Jai. Hari Om.
Hari Bol.